Well, welcome everyone to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross, where we are your resource for education, connections, and collaborations, and to support you on your wellness journey. And I would like to start by thanking our sponsors, Dr. Sherry Bainbridge and White Sands Premier Travel, as these sponsored appearances is what makes Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross possible. And I am super excited to have with us the incredible Dr. Sherry Bainbridge. She is a holistic empowerment specialist and the founder of Holistic Collaboration. Dr. Bainbridge is here to share her transformative journey from overcoming trauma to mastering the art of nutrition. And with a PhD and a treasure trove of wisdom drawn from Eastern, tribal, and Western healing practices, she's not just an expert, she's a living testament to the power of holistic wellness. So welcome, Dr. Sherry, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Laura, for having me on. I absolutely love your show. You make such a difference and bring all this variety of people that are doing some of the same thing, learning how to change how we think and being mindful and aware of the things that really affect our lives and how we can really live our lives because of it. So it's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So can you share with us your personal journey and the key experiences that led you to become a holistic empowerment specialist?
As a young child, I came in kind of thinking a little differently, and I've been intuitive all my life, and I hung on to that psychic side of myself. That's where I felt comfortable. And I was raised in a rather difficult home. My parents struggled with their weight and struggled with their thinking in such a way that as a young kid, I couldn't understand why they would put some of the things in their body that they did. And still to this day, can't get how people can get so stuck in their thinking. So I had things to get over and get beyond. And it sort of set me on a journey and a path of passion to help other people figure out how to heal themselves and become healthy and to rise above some of the fakery and a lot of the stuff we don't understand about our world and that we're learning and being supported by with science.
Yeah. And that always amazed me because I know from the time I met you, and I've met others, since, but the fact that you had that awareness at such an early age, I mean, for me, okay, if there was something I didn't like, yeah, I wouldn't know why anyone else would eat it either, but I didn't have the perceptions or, the intuitions that you did about it, or at least not that I was aware of at the time.
Yeah, believe it or not, prior to 4 years old, most people can even remember their past lives. So they have a lot of memory. It's just society teaches them that it's the wrong way to be and that other people fear them. Well, when people fear, that just creates the compliance of listening to the few, and believing that somehow you don't have these connections. And I'm telling you right now, we do. And I've watched people reconnect to those abilities to communicate over and over and over again. It's such a pleasure when people allow me into their lives in this way, because I'm the one who's learning. Every person's different. And that applies to everything in our lives. And that's why we need community so that we can support each other in this journey of, solving our problems so we can move along and heal what we need to heal and rise above what's chaos is going on around us. And I know you've been through a lot too, the loss of your husband, and you had a major move several years ago, a lot of changes and shifting that are always happening. And it's tough when you're doing it with an entrepreneurial business because we're both there together, right?
We are. And there's a lot of people out there that are doing it. I think there's probably even more entrepreneurial businesses now, even, especially since COVID, because that changed a lot of people's perceptions and the way they work and the way they can do things. And for a lot of people, I think it opened up doors for them.
Any time we have upheaval and crisis going on in the world, and especially in our own country, it's amazing the ingenuity and the creativity that comes out of people. But part of that too is, like, Laura, I was thinking this morning how we take being an average person, and it's a struggle to be an average person. There are financial considerations and there's health considerations and so on and so forth. How do we rise up and get into and out of that gray area of bettering ourselves? And we have alternatives, approaches that we can consider. And now we have, what's exciting is the quantum physics science is now backing these things up, such as intertwined is the same as synchronicity. And that's been talked about for decades. But we're learning that people in those different levels, the higher levels, if you will, know a different language than I know. They don't use the self-limiting thinking and the words that vibrate limitation to them the way, like, I've recently found out that I'm sort of trapped into and going through that struggle, because we're all doing this the same. What about you in that, Laura?
Oh, yeah. We've all had our limiting beliefs. We all still have them. I think they still pop up. I would say anyone that says they don't have them is lying, or they're, yeah,
Living a very boring life, right?
a very
They're not
boring
out
life,
there really learning.
because life constantly throws challenges at you. It's just a matter of how we've learned to perceive things differently and, and take things on. But yeah, we all have them. I think we're constantly learning. If we stop learning, we stop growing.
Oh, exactly. And you have evolution happening all the time, and it never stops. So science is going to change as time goes on. In science, you've got the muon G-2 particle that now just defies all the physics laws that they thought were in place. And then the intertwined part of it, I honestly believe this is going to lead us into better understanding how to do space travel a little more efficiently, because it's just an amazing time to be alive, and the opportunity to talk to people around the world and show up in 2 different states to do these amazing podcasts that we're all learning stuff from and growing just creates a whole different world. And it actually is exciting to me, because if we can help each other, we can raise the vibration of this earth. And that's what we need to do to make it a little bit kinder place. And quantum physics is supporting this type of thought. What's your feelings on that, Laura? Because you've been quite active in
I have been, and I have met so many fascinating people all over the world, which is why I love doing this. Because if you have an open mind, I mean, truly an open mind, get rid of the judgment, get rid of the labels, have an open mind, and listen to their perspective. I'm not saying you have to agree with it. You may not agree with it, but it's their perspective. And I think it's fascinating, because to learn all these different perspectives that are out there. And the more that I learn, the more those obstacles that come up in my life, the easier it is to overcome them quicker or a little bit faster, instead of staying in that, where we start spiraling down and just get into the whole pity party. It's just, it's not healthy. It doesn't solve anything.
Right. And it's easy to do in a world that, well, feels like it's beating you up. When people provide their perspective and it's different, there's a couple of reactions that people have to it. Sometimes people will react with a defensiveness. And if you're one of those, you have to ask yourself, what's the thinking behind what just happened? Because every emotion and feeling you have has thinking behind it that is about you and how you are approaching the situation. And for those that are able to accept other opinions without feeling threatened, it becomes it's like a ballroom of fun, because it broadens your perspective and it changes things, and you learn how to change your thinking on a dime. Everything is about how you choose to think. And our world is all about controlling manipulating and working toward their agendas and so forth because, well, the world is profit-based. We can choose differently if we're learning these different perspectives and sort of get out of our head. And in fact, I'm a believer we should take our foundation and just rip it apart. Let go of everything you thought you knew before. And how about we start right now, where things are at right now with the truth, and ditch anything that's just ego or dependent upon the few, that's narrow and boxing us in so we can't really thrive and have the energy and become vital like we need to in order to really build our lives. Do you find that?
I love it. I think that's a wonderful idea because we've got so much that we've been programmed, in us, and it's just like there is just so much more out there. And if you, like you said, if you just ditch it, rip it apart, let's start over. It's almost kind of like going back to being a kid again, to where you don't know any better. Let's just go learn and see
Let's
what's
just
out there.
get rid of sometimes when we learn bad habits and thinking that isn't serving us is absolutely a bad habit. We become almost addicted to it if we're choosing to be. And it makes it hard to break that thinking. But man, what a difference it makes when you open and broaden your mind in a much bigger perspective of being a representation of humanity in the universe. And we've talked a little bit about some of those that are representing humanity.
I always say together we can do more, but
Right.
yeah. And one of your biggest specialties though is healing with nutrition. So,
Absolutely.
and you've had multiple traumas. A lot of people have had multiple traumas, and maybe sometimes people have had trauma that they don't even realize that they've had. But
Right.
how would you say that your multiple traumas have shaped your perspective on health and healing?
Having the multiple traumas that I've had, I have numerous surgeries, I have injuries from head to toe. The spinal doctor said I'm supposed to be 350 pounds on the couch, and that was going to be my life. Well, number one, when somebody says I can't do something, my head is always saying, and why not? And I chose a different route. And I've done a few things that nobody else they can find in the world that has done. But unfortunately, it has left me with a lot of structural damage. And as yet, I haven't figured out how to ignite that part of my brain that I truly believe has the ability to heal structural damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe ancient approaches like breathing and so forth can help in that. But keeping my weight down has been a very difficult thing. My second book I came out with, The Movement Connection, is the routine that I did prior to birthing two children, and I had to adjust that routine for my injuries. And then I came out with the Reboot and Reclaim, Refocus Nutrition book, which goes along with an 8-week program that I've designed that includes hypnotherapy and learning. And it's a very holistic approach because you have to approach the individual. You have to help them figure out where their blocks and ideas and attitudes are holding them back so that they can overcome it. And a lot of people don't understand how difficult getting proper nutrition in the United States is. And it's really sad because so much aren't on labels. There's fake food, there's fake eggs, there's fake meat, there's fake lettuce. I'm about to do a video where I'm trying to light a piece of lettuce in a restaurant, and it won't light. It won't even turn brown. It just eventually turns a little black and sparks. I want nutrition, and my body needs it for me to get the sleep that I need, for me to be able to feel vital and energetic and go for my dreams, and to continue learning and solving these problems that get put before each of us in order to reach the goal that we came here to do, which is healing and developing, growing, and expanding in a physical form that must be done before we move up in different dimensions or whatever you wish to believe in that.
Yeah. And I think I got to say, since you mentioned the lettuce thing, that's one of the things I love about the way you do stuff is because you integrate humor and personal stories into your presentations. And,
Thank you.
for me, I know everybody's like, oh, they get so much like, stuff thrown at them. It's like being in school again. And not everybody liked being in school. So, I mean, I like that you do that, but why do you believe that approach is effective?
Because both experience, you have to have self and formal education. If you've never been on the couch with PTSD freeze, I have, and got myself through it, you don't get what it's really like unless you've gone through it. If you haven't lost someone you've loved very dearly and lost that communication connection, it pulls the rug out from under your life, and in an instant you are a different person now, exploring who this new person is, because it brings up new areas of healing. It's exciting to me because I know where I've been and where I've come from. And I'll take what you said, Laura, as a compliment. Because it
It
could be
definitely
used
is.
as not a compliment, because I've been through so much that I have so many stories to tell. But that's the purpose of having a life like this, is so that you can share and tweak a lot of things and be able to bring that to other people to help them.
Yeah, and that's what I love, because we all kind of need that laughter. Yes, the traumas were serious. We've gotten through them, but when you can look back and fix it and at least kind of find something humorous about it, but still connect people, still help educate them or help get them, I think it's a great combination myself.
Thank you. It's proven to be really helpful with my clients, because what it does for me is I have that intuitive side that also comes into play. So it really helps to individualize everything I do. And it's very much tweaked specifically for the person that I'm working with. And I can't wait for this program to get underway and going. Everything is up and ready to go and ready to run. We're just launched it this past week because it's the journey that I've been on, and I've been on with some of my clients. And it's tough, and we need to support each other. And that's why I'm going to start a mastermind class. Because these communities that you and I have talked about, it's so important to get that support and the tips and the tricks, because we are so very, very different. And we have to approach our human body and our spirit body and everything else from a very holistic point of view, if we really want to be able to heal ourselves, because ultimately we're healing that relationship with ourselves. And once we do that, then we can heal our relationship with others, and it just spreads. And the joy of all this is why people like you and I do the work that we do.
Yeah. And the one thing I'd like to, that I have found with dealing with a lot of holistic healers or people that are in the holistic things is that's exactly it. They treat people as the individual and not try to think that, oh, well, this person had this, cram them into one thing, which I have a feeling, that I always feel like you feel like you're just on one of those, kind of like an assembly line when you go to like regular doctors and they're not really hearing you. Most of the holistic
Right.
people that I have met, they're taking the time to listen to you. All of the programs are individualized to fit you, because what works for me may not work for you. It may not work for someone else, and so you need to have
Exactly.
different people that you can relate to that can help you.
And everybody thinks a little differently. And I can't help people from my thinking, but I certainly can from their thinking. And this makes this work absolutely extraordinary. Who knew? Every single day, I have to adjust, and I have to be on my toes, and I'm opening new doors to learn from, and people are providing me such amazing information and guidance that we help each other. It's just a very beautiful thing to be a part of, and I'm just incredibly grateful to be a part of these type of movements that are going on right now. And you're certainly a part of it also, because people people, self-care is super important. And people like us that we get so busy and you're trying to do so many things and you're trying to rise above and you're trying to have self-growth. There's so much going on that you can get lost in not taking that proper downtime that many of us need for rest, relaxation, contemplation. And in fact, many people can feel guilty about it, which, well, gee, you deserve that and your body needs it. What do you do, Laura, when you are having relaxation time?
Oh, when I have, well, my favorite thing is to go outside and go walk around in nature. I feed the deer, the birds. I watch my squirrels run around, watch the leaves fall or bloom, whatever season we're in. But I like being outside and just watching nature and watching things take place.
Being connected with nature. Mm-hmm. You know, it's proven that we're in this simulation. So the earth is a type of simulation and our meat body is a type of organic physical thing that we get to use, but everything is energetically connected, so that healing that we get from what we live on, that mother that is a part of our being able to live and to survive, has information that it can share with us. And when we are sharing that energetic moment, it is so cleansing. Your mind just melts and you can open up your mind. It's like some people at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, they now, oh my God, I just solved that problem. Isn't it a shame we have to be so out to be aware and connected to what can give us guidance?
It is. And you have so much knowledge and research between all the different approaches and everything. And there's a reason why we mentioned a lot of this, because it has a lot to do with, your healing and the nutrition. And we have a lot more to discuss, but we do need to take a quick break from a word from our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Thank you. So excited to bring this YouTube channel to everyone, Nutrition Strategies. We are dealing with the mind, the body, and the spirit. And this is brought to you by Holistic Collaboration. I'm Dr. Sherry Bainbridge, helping you regain your joy, vitality, energy, and start really thriving by understanding the world we are in and what we can do to help our lives at every level. Thank you very much.
Making the world a healthier place.
So, Dr. Sherry, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the reasons we're talking about being connected and being calm is because you kind of need to be in that place. It's not just the nutrition. You can eat nutritional things, but if you're all a mess and all worked up, then it really doesn't serve you very well. Would you say that's true or no?
Oh, absolutely true, because you are 90% energy. MC squared proves this, 90% energy every single cell. And this is part of energetic nourishment and nutrition. And if we don't meet that nutrition for our energy, then it is starting to break down for us. The energy, since it's 90% of what we are, it's connected to everything else as everything is one. When that is very high and pure, that gut communication that we can get from the things around us, boy, that increases in our understanding, can be absolute clear. But we fog up A thought begins everything. Nothing can happen without a thought first, and thought is energy. And this is why we must feed and nourish our energy. And this includes the food that we use, because every single piece of food that we put in our body also has energy. When you take fake food, it's not going to have the same energy as real food. Dehydrated food will have slightly less energy, and canned food doesn't have energy anymore. So that type of sustenance that we require in that 90% of what we are is so very vital. When you are in love, right? We've all usually had that moment. I don't care if it's a puppy, if it's another person, if it's a baby. When you feel that feeling of love, what does that do to you? It nourishes and feeds your energy. And when you have a positive, caring, loving, kind energy, it attracts the same. And it's part of one of the goals in life, I believe, is that we are meant to become incompatible to that which we do not want. And in order to do that, we have to reach that point of healing and growth. And part of that is to care so much about ourselves that we really don't want to alter ourselves. We want to be present with everything that's happening, because life takes on a different level of nourishment and excitement and wonderment. And what do you think about those thoughts? Because I know sometimes this can be a little new for people.
Oh, it does, and it makes a difference. But what I would really love for you is if you could tell people exactly what do you call a fake food? How would you define fake food?
I'm defining fake food that isn't of the earth. Fake food that has been created in a lab, such as the Chinese have perfected the egg, right? It has to be cooked. You're not to eat it raw.
Okay.
But it's certainly been perfected so that it looks just like an egg, tastes like an egg, when it really isn't. It's chemicals that have created this. They have come out with the fake meat that has been created in labs, and our wonderful agencies have decided that it doesn't have to be on the label. I know when I'm getting something fake. My body tells me, and I react sometimes. I react in a way I'm not understanding why my body's rejecting this food. And then it might be a few days later, I'll learn about, oh, this is now already in the market. I have talked to 3 major chains, and they're sit-down restaurants, and they admitted that, yes, everything is fake at their restaurant for the most part. Cheaper. Now, I know there's other advertising out there that contradicts that. We're going to have contradiction in absolutely everything. But you know, my dream is to own a Bentley with a driver named Guido. Guido doesn't have a face, but Guido does everything and anything I don't want to do. Why would I put regular unleaded gas in a Bentley? Right?
Yep.
Now this is a vehicle, a car. This is my vehicle. It's my car. And I don't want to put anything in my mouth, for the most part, that's not going to serve me. Now, that being said, Laura, we have taste buds. And we are only having these buds in physical form, so we must enjoy them. I am a full believer in, of course, have a dessert once in a while, or my favorite salty, fatty, crunchy things in a dip. It's fine, but then get right back on track, because that constantly being flooded into your body, it's proven that in America, it makes you sick, and being ill is profitable. I don't want my food to be a symptom relief. I want it to be real nutrition so that I can rise up and thrive in this world above and beyond, where it seems I'm being pushed to stay. And I'm just going to fight back a little more, right?
Right. And you say symptom relief, and I know there's a lot of foods out there that we can actually eat that will actually heal us. But I know a lot of us eat, whether it's out of stress, depression, or comfort food. And our taste buds, as you mentioned, we may love the way it tastes, but how many times are we really kind of paying attention to what our body's doing? There's a lot of things I've had or have eaten that I thought, hey, this is great. I love this, love the way it tastes, and didn't realize that my body really doesn't like it. It didn't dawn on me that, the pain in either my hips or not smell or all of a sudden being passed out or just wanting to pass out and tired, your energy is drained, that it had to do with what I ate.
Right, exactly. And thinking about this, when we are consuming vegetables, there are natural toxins for vegetables. Do you know vegetables contain a goitrogen enzyme? There's like a dozen of them that blocks iodine to the thyroid. Well, we need iodine. So when I eat those vegetables, I lightly cook them and it shuts it down. Now in soy, you can't shut it down. So there's a tip and a trick. If you have something with soy in it, and I love Asian food, I won't bother eating a bunch of vegetables that day, but instead I'll double up on my vegetables the next day. And this is very important to know these little tips and tricks, because our world is out to kind of keep us in a stressful way. And that means unhealthfulness, because stress is the leading cause of illness and disease. And that is agreed around the world. 90% of all illness and disease comes from stress. And where does stress come from? It starts with how you think. And then it starts with how you behave. And it adds to it what you put into your body. When you find that your body's not working, like, let me give you an example. I raised my children and they got organic food as much as I could do. They got homemade meals. They got things made from scratch. And they didn't go through, my two boys didn't go through that huge need to just consume anything in their presence. They had the nutrition that their body needed. And I've learned that too and incorporated it in my program. When you get that nutrition, you're not hungry. That is what is a treat. If you had to eat the unhealthy foods, you're going to have 6 months a year, you're going to just feel like crap. And then if you had that opportunity to have healthy food and you set aside all that, how amazing to start looking at healthy food as the treat.
Yeah.
You can treat your taste buds. Fine, here and there, do that. But learn what's going to sabotage you and what your body can handle and what it can't handle, unique to you. It takes the stress out of what you choose and don't choose to put into your mouth.
Yeah, it does. I had a scan done recently from another doctor, and it was amazing because it's a voice scan. It picks up your vibration, and it's like doing an MRI on you head to toe. And he starts laughing. He's like, no more sweets. He goes, you're sweet enough. You don't need any more sweets. Obviously, even though I love chocolate, apparently there's things in my body that it's creating issues with that I had not a clue of.
Now, guess what you just did? If you make an adjustment, you are telling your body that you are supporting it. Now, it took people a long time to get to where they're at, and they have trained their body and their mind in these behaviors, that these are what give you satisfaction, what eases your suffering, calms you, can give you joy. And if it's done in an unhealthy way, boy, does it show up in your life in so many ways. So when the body knows you're listening and you actually communicate to the body, brain, I've made a change. I'm not going there into the gossip brain anymore. This is not what I am doing. And give your brain time to adjust. And by the way, body, I'm not eating those sweets early in the day today. My intent for the whole day was not to have any flour products, not to have any sweets, and I'm just going to stay super healthy today so I can wake up tomorrow feeling even better than I felt today.
And the mind is really a big part of it, because how many times have we all been there where we're sitting watching TV just trying to relax or something? We're not hungry, but for some reason we think we need to go get up something, go pick up something and go munch.
bored, and we're being sabotaged with all these electronic waves and the screen and the subliminal messaging and so forth, and what's put into things, into the shows that we are watching and so forth. It's of course got the desire to move us and hurt us in simple directions that, well, ultimately end up in us hand to mouth. It's the same thing with GPS. How often does GPS refuse to go the easiest, quickest route, but instead it wants to take you by the department stores and the malls? You know,
Yeah,
this is no different. Yeah. And you can see how effective hypnotherapy is because and meditation, because all these commercials use repetitiveness in order to aid in changing people's thinking. So one healthy thing that people can do, take a break from your screens, take a break from your TV, pick up a book and really exercise that brain. Because if you don't use it, you don't approach the body in a very loving, caring gratefulness and prove it by what you choose to put into your mind and your body and your spirit, then why does it have a reason to support you?
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, and I know I can get with GPS because every now and then it's like, yeah, no, I know this is shorter, so I intentionally go the way I want to go, and it'll reroute, like reroute. It's like, yep, reroute.
Constantly
I'm not making four
because...
turns when I can go this way. Sorry.
Right.
But we need to do that, right? When we're eating and with our food and our other thinking, but for some reason, a lot of times we don't.
And we get in the habit of sometimes cultural thinking, religious thinking, and what we choose to put into our mouths. Again, like I said before, I think we need to just ditch everything we think we know. If we take the word culture and we divide it into two words, you have the word cult, we all know what that is. We have the word URE, which is legislation. So you follow the legislation set forth by the cult for your culture. We know, the majority of us know, that it's the cults that have a hold on this world. And it's why our governments are kind of not effective like they should be. And that's fine. Wherever we are in this is where we start. Everything accepted exactly how it is. And let's just change how we choose to think about things and accept the reality that, yes, we don't have the power, but guess what? We have the power over ourselves. We have the ability to rise above where we're being herded, you know, to get away from the stupid prejudices of skin color and gender and location and culture and really all this. You know, if you've got a brain and you've got a heart and you've got emotion and you've got a human-like body, you're humankind, human-like, human-similar. And let's take care of each other.
Absolutely. So you have you've done so much research and different things for the nutrition and all the different backgrounds. What would you say are some of the most surprising insights you've gained about nutrition during your research and practice?
Oh, goodness, there are a lot of surprising. But the one that I think that outshines all the other is I have done hundreds and hundreds of past life regressions. And when I'm provided the opportunity to take someone back into a health, these have been consistent. No change in any of them. Exactly the same. What's on the table? They have fruit. They have vegetables, they have meat, they have water.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And this has happened over and over and over. And I'm talking about being in Roman times. And we've been shared all the grains and all the breads and so forth. And I'm telling you, every single time, those are the things that are on the table and the only things on the table.
Yeah. Yep. As I say, we've things have been modified, grown, changed, and making them so that we can get more, get faster. It's like we just keep wanting everything like yesterday, and I think it's kind of destroyed it in the process.
Exactly. When we change the DNA of what was designed naturally to support the life that is on the planet, then we're doing just that. We're changing DNA. Our bodies require nutrition. It requires quality, real food. Now, everything evolves, so too does nutrition, and so too does the food. But when you're messing with the DNA part of the food, or you're creating something that's designed from plastic or ingredients that don't have energetic nutrition, we don't have the physical science, the technology available to break it down to such small particles to really know what our bodies need and what they don't. So we need to rely on ourselves for that. In fact, one of the things I've started doing is I'm going to farm to table restaurants. I'm literally ousting all the others. I don't want to hurt anybody's business, but I don't want my health hurt. I don't want to spend my elderly years, yes, I'm old, but my elderly years in hospitals and doctor appointment after doctor appointment. That's not a quality of life for me. And I believe that if we handle the nutrition for our body in a very natural, doable, and sustainable way, which means changing the thinking so the behaviors and actions can change, and that can't change until you know what you don't know.
Exactly.
Once you know what you didn't know, then it comes together and start making sense. And that's where I hope my program and my services are really helping people open up their minds to a broader knowledge base.
And then you got to have an open mind and be willing to change.
But, you do.
Yeah.
And there are some people that don't, and that's fine. They're not part of my group.
Yep. I was going to say, it's not for everyone. What practical advice would you offer someone that's just starting their journey towards better nutrition and overall well-being?
I would say don't try to do everything at once. Have some grace with yourself. You've had help to get here. This didn't happen just on your own. We have many organizations and industry and corporations that are set up intentionally just for profit, and they don't care about your health. See, in this world, there's no death. We move on. I died when I was 9. I ended up moving to the other side, and then I decided to come back given the choice. We have the ability to change so that we can connect with ourselves again. And this is where it starts. Start reconnecting with your breath. Do you know your breath is taking in an outer world into the inner world? Your world. It's two worlds coming together. It's like a beach. You've got the physical beach and you've got the water coming together. Two complete different worlds. Right in the edge of that is just simply space of breath in aiding us in setting our intent and setting how we want to view and understand the health that we have as our body. And the other thing I would suggest to people, hey, get a little mad. Get determined. You're not screwing with my life. This is my life, and I'm making choices that are going to help my life to be a life of living, not just accidentally being.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a great point, the different worlds and stuff coming together. But yeah, a number of, like I said, I have talked to many holistic people all over, and that's one thing they definitely all agree on is the breath. Yes. Breath, mindset. We all may have a different way or different technique, to get there, but it's an important part.
Oh, exactly. In fact, I call my breath God's breath because that's what it is. Within just minutes, you can die without your breath. It's very important. So be careful what you're putting in your lungs. You need them.
You do need them. So how would you say that people can cultivate a mindful relationship with their food that aligns with their personal healing journeys?
I don't care what your belief system is. Food sustains you. It gave up part of its life or even its whole life to be a part of yours. It deserves respect, admiration, awe. It's an amazing thing that supports us. And approaching that from that point of view, for me, healthy food fits into that. What I put in the other side are choosing my poisons carefully. And I approach them as a poison because that is innate in ourselves to recognize that's something to stay away from. So I choose my poisons very carefully. We're a human being. Give yourself a break. Sometimes we may have to stop and get food we're not really a fan of. And then sometimes we're just using an excuse. I can run into a grocery store the other day. For 96 cents, I bought an apple and a banana. And that was my lunch. So if you're complaining about money going through a $10, $15 fast food, when you can go buy a couple of pieces of fruit to hold you over until you get to where you can prepare healthier food, these are little tidbits that we all get to share when we're in a community where we can support each other in being able to do that. And I'm not any different. I need that support also because it is a difficult world in this area. We enjoy our taste buds.
Well, and the support is huge too, because you want people that are supporting your choices, not necessarily people that are judging or thinking you're not eating enough. Why are you not eating this? Or, you try. I mean, they may mean well, but it's like, it's not helpful.
And they do. And the other day I had a good friend of mine tell me, oh no, you have to eat at least 2 meals a day. Well, I don't need to eat 2 meals a day. My body gains weight really fast, which means it doesn't need a lot of food. And I have a slow digestive system. Another thing you should figure out is which digestive system do you have? Some are fast, some are slow. Mine's really slow. So I can go a long time without eating, and then all of a sudden I go into starvation mode, which you don't want to happen, where you're so hungry because now everything you eat will be put into your body as fat. Well, here's a trick, people. 2 tablespoons of Concord grape juice with 2 tablespoons of water will raise your blood sugar without spiking the glucose. And it just gives you that moment to calm down the starvation mode so that you can prepare something healthier and your body can actually utilize what you are eating in a way that it really needs to and not just putting everything to fat.
Nice. And I know you have a lot of little tips and tricks and your nutrition strategies, the QR code that we have on here on your YouTube channel. Is that where you're sharing those or the information?
Yes, nutrition strategies is all about the mind, the body, and the spirit, and all the nutrition that these require. So there is no subject that's going to be off the table. In fact, I'm working on the new one coming out, which will be going into the words that we speak. And some of the other YouTubers out there doing amazing work that I'll be providing some links to because I'm not doing this all on my own. I want other people that get connected up to other people because we're here to help each other learn and to raise humanity in a very healthy way. And nutrition strategies is one where I hope we can share a lot of information that can help keep us on track.
Yeah. And hence the holistic collaboration. It's not a competition. It is a collaboration. And like you said, we can do more together in communities than we can trying to do everything ourselves.
Exactly. Why reinvent the wheel and let's collaborate and share, take with you what works and leave the rest for other people.
Yeah. So Sherry, we have a few minutes left. What is one key takeaway that or tool that you would encourage our audience to implement in their lives immediately to support their health and growth?
Having grace with yourself. Stop beating yourself up. You've been conditioned to do that. In that mode of negativity, you get stuck. You sabotage yourself. And all belief systems and every culture around the world believes we get affected by unseen forces and beings and energy and so forth. And when we invite that type of negative energy in, it only completely sabotages our life, our relationship with ourselves and with others. So change when you feel that happening. Just put a big old smile on your face because when you smile, that simple effort helps to change that energy instantaneously. So smile more.
Yeah, it is really amazing how that, how that's how that works, but it's kind of like, okay, something shows up. We're not saying things don't happen. You and I, we still are going to have things happen. It hits us all the time.
Oh, yeah.
We're not saying everything's peachy, and you can acknowledge it, but just like, thanks for showing up, but I got this. Like you said, put that smile on and move on.
Right. And when you have to go through the difficult emotions, try to put that energy towards solving something. On Facebook, somebody asked me what what you did to do something you didn't like at all. Well, I get angry. I say lots of really nasty words. I get really angry, and I take that energy to resolving something. I make it work for me, because you've got to have the balance.
You do. And we're having it work for you instead of against you is also a big part of that.
Absolutely. Laura, I'm so excited that you had me on today, and I just so appreciate everything that you're doing and helping other people. It's people like you that are providing information that people really need, and to help them expand their thinking and to be exposed to things they may not have ever heard of before. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, because it's same here. I always learn, there's always something new I learn from you. And I learn it from watching your YouTube channels or your snippets. And even if it doesn't make you smile, it normally will, or something to laugh about, but it's normally something new. And that is a lot of research and work and a lot of stuff to weed through. So I definitely want to thank you for taking the time for doing that for a lot of us, because most of the part, that's the big overwhelming part, right? When you're supposed to do this and make changes, but then you can get lost in labels and this one says this and this one says that, and you've done all that for us.
So diving down the rabbit hole, right?
So thank you, because I have had enough rabbit holes to go down to.
I know, is that true?
And even though that's an important one, I don't got time for that one.
I understand. You're most welcome, and I love it. I absolutely love learning new stuff. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, I want to thank you for joining us, and everyone, thank you for joining us this week. As you can see, Dr. Bainbridge, she is a wealth of knowledge in multiple areas, healing, nutrition, you name it. So if any of this resonated with you, please do not hesitate to reach out and connect with her, because she is there for you. She's happy to listen, truly listen, and help, and she can help guide you to a healthier life. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you all next week.